Embracer canceled nearly 30 unannounced games in just 6 months. Yeah, you watched it. Okay. Company has acquired the teams behind Borderlands, Deus Ex, and more. Yeah. Yeah. Look, the Deus Ex acquisition was something. Now, this is how bad Embracer's been doing. Yeah. 3K console, what do you mean it's an AR device? Oh, no, it was just talking about, it was talking about an old console is what it was talking about. But then we started talking about how it was going to be like 3K for just the AR device or the VR or whatever. And, you know, we're just memeing out about it. Because anything that comes up Apple, you know, we have to slam Apple for what they do. Apple's products are overpriced, dude. They're overpriced, and they lock people into this. You know, they've done it forever. These gross mechanics of Apple devices only work with Apple devices, or like with the new iPhone, only the Pro version has fast charging, which is why I was memeing on, you know, only the Pro version of the controllers. If they made a new console, only the Pro version of the controllers would have fast charging. Because that's something Apple would do. It's funny because it's true. That's what Apple would do. You know? They're terrible, man. Happy that it's Friday. Me too, Brendo. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. All right, let's just get in here, dude. So like I was saying, with Deus Ex, this acquisition was... What was it? Earlier 2022, I think. That they acquired. Embracer acquired all the North American development studios from Square Enix, like Eidos Montreal, all you know, all those guys, and it was like 4 studios, I think. I think they might have all been Canadian studios, and along with that, they got the IPs of Deus Ex, Tomb Raider. What else did they get? A couple of other ones. I can't think of them off the top of my head. Anyways, dude, they turned around like 6 months later, and they sold just the Tomb Raider IP licensing to Amazon for $600 million. So it was a good business move. They made double off, you know, they did really well there. And true. Got to be able to hit that G button, right? That's right. And even with that, you know, they've just been dying off. They've just been shuttering numerous studios underneath them, firing tons of people. They've been shutting down all kinds of game development. It's a terrible look, man. Embracer Group, the proverbial Grim Reaper of video game acquisitions, has been wreaking havoc on the studios and IPs it has acquired in the past few years, from layoffs across several companies to shutting down beloved studios like Saints Row developer Volition. Yep, and cancellations of big exciting projects like a new Deus Ex game. Embracer has been buying up and shutting down companies with practically nothing to show for it. In its latest fiscal report, Embracer Group CEO Lars Wingfors said the company has more plans in the works to sell off some of its investments, which would line up with reports that Borderlands developer Gearbox Software may be up for sale. They've been shopping Gearbox for roughly 3 to 4 months now. But he also says that further restructuring may happen in the meantime, meaning more layoffs within the company and its subsidiaries are likely coming. This follows the company laying off over 8% of its workforce in the past year, which is around 1,387 jobs, and canceling 29 games across its company. Why? Well, Wingford says Embracer's overruling principle is to always maximize shareholder value in any given situation. Which means that takes precedence over taking care of the employees. Right? This is a thing we all know, but it's not often you get a suit willing to say the quiet part out loud and on the record. Yep. This is, dude, I call out these studios all the time for this crap right here because they also don't want to explicitly say it. But we know this is what's happening, right? Bad business decisions leading to these companies firing people that had nothing to do with those bad business decisions because these companies want to maximize shareholder value amidst these terrible situations they've found themselves in. And instead of the people that put the business in these terrible positions, taking less pay, God forbid they not make millions of dollars a year or high six-figure dollar salaries a year, you know, or not take bonuses or you name it, you know, they just fire low-level workers. But it all comes down to this because they need to maximize shareholder value. So lift up the rich, crush the poor, right? This is Embracer's legacy, and people on social media are already blasting Wing First comment, given the current industry climate. And Embracer's not the only company that's been acquiring studios and laying off scores of employees soon after. Microsoft recently cut 2,000 people's jobs after it's finalized its acquisition of Activision Blizzard. Perhaps we can lay to rest any notion that acquisitions on this scale are a good thing for games, and we should stop hyping them up with celebratory trailers. This is what I will say. My hope here is that some of these will be rehired. The Microsoft stuff is obviously an amount of... We know that Activision Blizzard had been mismanaged for a very, very long time. Right? One of the reasons I wanted Microsoft to buy and to be able to fully acquire Activision Blizzard was because I was hopeful that Microsoft would be able to go in there and right the ship, as it were. At least to some extent. Make Activision Blizzard something respectable again. I won't even play their games anymore. Blizzard, at least. You know, I haven't been able to play their games for a long time. I've been so disgusted with that company. And, you know, for me, I expected a little bit of Microsoft going in. And not all of these 2,000 jobs were under Activision Blizzard either. Some of them were Xbox jobs where they're trying to, they've been eliminating jobs for physical, you know, jobs related to the physical production of games. They're ramping down their physical production of games and moving more in a digital direction. And so that happened. But there was a lot of this also attributed to the Activision Blizzard company. And so I'm hopeful that what they're doing is putting Activision Blizzard under a microscope. We already know that they're doing a reorganization of that company. They're restructuring under Microsoft and Xbox with Activision Blizzard. Bobby Kotick is gone, thank God. Mike Ibarra is gone, thank God. You know, so you had to know that Microsoft was going to come in here and take a look at what they needed to do to turn their new acquisition into something that more aligned with what they need it to be. And there was potentially going to be some trimming of fat, right? So what my hope is that after they sort this out, get the reorg gone through, their restructuring and everything, they'll find some ways to rehire and fill some of these gaps that are left by what was done initially here with the layoffs. We'll see what happens. That's my hope anyways, you know, but you can't expect a company to go in and acquire a company like Activision Blizzard that we know had been mismanaged for so long and expect them to just let it lie in the filth that they've been for so long. You have to expect some change. You have to. So, you know, yeah, it's appropriate we talk about the layoffs, but let's not leave out all the Epic layoffs and the Riot layoffs and the list goes on and on and on and on and on, right? So it's not just Embracer. It's not just Microsoft. Dude, this industry is getting slaughtered. The workforce is getting obliterated. Roughly 10,000 layoffs last year. We have already over half of that amount in a month and a half of 2024 alone. And again, where there's never clarity about it, there's never any kind of real talk from these companies about what led to these situations. A little bit can be attributed to pandemic hire bloat, for sure. A little bit. Most of this comes down to bad business decisions, and the low people in the totem pole pay the price, unfortunately.